back everybody to Nian's Shorts. We're back here at Physique Magnifique, getting a little work in. Today I was super confident I was going to have this whole conversation about the idea of flow. And then Rick gave me a lesson prior to this and it totally went out the window. No. I want to emphasize why that was the case, because I'm always getting new lessons from Rick. Him and I are constantly throwing ideas back and forth. Usually he throws ideas more my way and I just take them in and internalize them as best I can. And we concluded that flow is a way that you do things. But what we're really talking about and what we want to emphasize is adaptability. Can you, on the fly, change what you were going to do to any sequence of events and get the better for it? A technique, by definition, is something that has step 1, 2, and 3 in response to one attack or one movement. But adaptability is being able to change any one of those steps depending on what your opponent does. So in reality, it becomes the transition points from one point of contact to the next. And how do we practice that? How do we develop that so we can do it on the fly? And I mean on the fly. If you were to just, with a training partner, throw them whatever, not tell them what they're going to do, what they're going to, how they're going to respond, and you just go and then see what happens. Now, I used to consider that flow, but it's more adaptability, because he doesn't know what I'm going to do and I don't know what he's going to do in reference to it, which means we constantly have to adjust and change the things that we do in order to either keep the flow going or end the fight altogether. So, at this juncture, I'd like to show you an example of that. Rick and I are going to play. I'm not going to tell him what I'm going to do. He's not going to give me any instructions on what he's going to do. Now, for those of you who have seen us in person, this is not choreographed. Hi, Rick.
Hi, Rick.
For those of you who are new to the show, I just want to emphasize, this is not choreographed. I'm going to try to hit him, and I want to emphasize that point too. I want to hit him, and he's going to do whatever he can to not get hit. But because we're not trying to hurt each other, we're going to keep it going. All right? All right, he hit my temple. I think we're done there. I don't know if you caught it right here. He even messed up my hair. Side note, it takes a lot of control and trust. We tapped each other, but none of those things actually hurt. Carlito.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, you got my hand. You guys need to watch that episode. That's a hilarious story.
You got my hand.
I did. That's awesome. So I got his hand. He got my shoulder, my temple, my arm, my leg. So you guys decide who won.
My finger hurts.
Now, normally we would see something like this and be like, man, those guys can flow. But again, flow is more in reference to being able to do it smoothly and rhythmically. But every point of contact, we had to change the direction in which we were going. A flow is a constant movement. So the moment that we clash, the moment that we make contact, that flow has to stop and we have to re-engage. So it's really a free-form drill or a free-form technique, because now we're just going from one hit to the other, to the other, to the other. How choppy or fluidly we can do it, that may determine flow, but the adaptability itself has come through many years of actual practice.
Yeah, you know, the other part of that is if you're doing, flow drills, what people call flow drills, where you go from one series of things to another to another. Even in that, you know, do you really call that flow, or you just both know what's going on, so you can flow through it? You can be pretty.
You know the structure.
Nobody's going to get hurt.
Oh, of course.
Everybody's doing the same exact thing. So it looks like you're flowing. Oh, wow, they got a nice flow.
But then you go into a tournament, and do you see any of those movements in sequence?
Then in application, in pure application, that doesn't exist. Now, what you and I just did, I had no clue what you were going to do. You had no clue what I was doing. I was just trying to avoid some of the stuff you were doing.
And I was doing my best not to die.
And I'm looking at things that I could hit.
Right.
Which then I just went ahead and hit them. But never at any point of what I was doing was I trying or knowing that I was going to do that.
Right. It's not like, oh, when he throws it from this angle, I'm going to do this and this.
Yeah,
I wasn't giving you any
I
angles.
can't. You know, nobody can do that.
Well, no, because I was doing the same thing you were. I was looking for targets and trying to hit them. I wasn't trying to look pretty. I wasn't trying to be fancy about it. I was just trying to get to my target, which is essentially what happens in a fight.
Yeah, and you know, and even the avoiding part. Avoiding getting hit from your opponent.
Oh, crap, I can't make that one.
I mean, you heard our sticks clash because I did stop something, and I tried to go for something else. That didn't get there. Oh, I stopped something, then I did get there, and it went back and forth.
And even the point behind why our sticks clash, it wasn't because I was trying to hit a stick. I was going for his hand. He recognized that, so he had to change what we consider flow, but really he was adapting to the changes that I made on my end. So he's literally looking at the fight on both sides, and that's how we train to do these things. Now, a basic structure drill, like we did our sombrado last time, we're here, we both know exactly what's going on, we know the sequence of events, and we know what we're going to do next. But, like we emphasized and so many other masters emphasize, that's not how people fight. So how do we transition from this into what we were just doing right now? And that's what I want to talk about now, is the transition behind it. Now, here's another drill that we like to do. We call it our thrust 5. It's still sombrado, but it's a lower line. Okay? Again, structured. We both know what we're doing. Oh, what happened?
Changed something. You tried to flare.
I tried to. Is that going to be now a joke?
Yes.
So what did I do? I found a point in which I can transition from this low line sombrado drill into the high line sombrado drill that we started off with. And that's what our Grandmaster? Is that what we call him? Supreme
double
Supremo,
decker triple.
Danny,
with cheese, Danny.
the creator of the Bladed Mind, calls this structured unstructured. The first drill that we did is structure because it just goes back and forth. It doesn't end unless we break it apart. If you watch the last episode, you have some ideas on how we play that and get into the students to be able to move away from that particular structure. But structure unstructured, now I moved from one structured drill to another. And it was on him to catch that change and whether or not he's able to continue the flow of the movements to be able to continue the drill that I now changed to. Another basic drill that we have is our passing drill. He throws something, I take care of it. From here we can play a lot of different things, but also, how do we then, oh, it changed. I have to change too.
Oh, recognize.
Oh. Now, again, I want to emphasize, this is a structured drill. We move from one structured drill to the other. But the transitions themselves were not. Those were on the fly. We trained it. We recognized where the different points we could transition into the next drill. And then we just throw it out there. I didn't tell him when I was going to do it. He didn't tell me when he was going to do it. But because we understand, oh, something has changed, I need to change what I'm doing. I can't continue doing the same sequence. Meanwhile, he's beating the crap out of me on my head because I'm doing all low line strikes. And it's a very simple idea, but this is the way that in the Bladed Mind we train it and we get our students to be comfortable enough so we can go into what we believe to be flow, which is now an adaptive fight.
Yeah. To understand and adapt to whatever is coming, that you have no clue what it is becomes key to everything you're doing after that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because the reality is, folks, a fight isn't going to go for 5 minutes. And you're lucky if it makes it to a minute.
And that's exhausting.
And that's exhausting, even just that minute. But the reality is that you want to try to get that done as quickly as possible. So if he throws something, I mean, it would make sense to just be hitting that head and maybe finishing the fight right then and there. But if it does have to go, how am I then going to adapt to whatever I can do and get into whatever needs to happen? It changes, and there's no telling what it's going to be because I have no clue what it could become.
No, but you can't just start practicing out of nowhere and tell your training partner, I'm just going to attack you, you do something.
Right.
Someone's going to get hurt. Maybe just the feelings.
Or just him.
My ego, mostly, because he has really good control, so I appreciate that. I have a good training partner. But it has to be systematic. There has to be a sequence of events that will follow. Repetition is key to any good training, but smarter repetition is going to get you the results that you want. And if there is no focus as to what you're trying to learn, and here, in this particular instance, we're trying to learn the transition points. At what point did something change that I have to adapt to, but still have a good sense of what I can do, which is why we start with learning a few drills. Then we transition from drill to drill to drill. But it has to be on the fly. It can't be, okay, I'm about to change the drill. You can't let your partner know. Have to see. If they understand the drills well enough, they'll be able to catch it and move on to the next one. At first, it'll be choppy as hell.
Oh, yes.
But even if it is choppy, as long as you accomplish the goal, then you are doing it. Whether you do it pretty or not, that's besides the point. The idea is, hey, something's coming. Can I move? Can I adapt? Can I change what I had in my head to get the better of the situation?
Yeah, you know, and a classic example where that would happen is even in the simplest thing of what we call passing.
Oh, yeah.
Right? In passing, it's more of a rhythm and timing exercise where we understand this and this is 1, 2, 1, 2, and that's your timing. 1, 2. Now in that, you'll get what we call a half beat, like 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 strike, 2, right? So these are the half beats, and this is where you find transition. So if we go on to this, we continue this, I can then, I could change here. I could change here. Now we're transitioning and we're seeing the half beats and everything else, but these are then become transfer points where we can throw this, a fatigue, a hit to the leg, back to the roll, hit the arm. All of these things are just ideas of what you're talking about, correct?
That's all it is. Can you do the things that you want to, when you want to, regardless of what your opponent is doing?
Right. And force him.
And force him to
play
do the things, play your game.
Play my game. Yeah.
Because ultimately you want to take control, as much control as you possibly can from a chaotic situation. But if you don't practice that idea, if you don't go back and forth and really play, okay, I'm not telling you what's happening, figure it out.
Right.
And if you don't have enough of a base between the two of you to be able to do that, well then you're not going to get there. So there is a progress. It's not going to just happen on the fly. I'm not just going to attack you and you're going to do something. No. But this is one of the tools that we use in the Bladed Mind to get our students to be able to adapt.
Right. Am I free to go?
You're free to go. Thank you very much.
I had a good time. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Bye-bye. See you later.
So, transition points. Figuring out, understanding at what point of this movement, what location, at what point of contact in our two-person drill can I switch it up and do something else, whether that is continue into another drill or stop the drill completely. And be able to not only stop it and change it, but go back to it. Go back to the original drill that you started off with, because then that really develops your sense of control and your adaptability to the situation in continuous motion, in flow. But the idea is adaptability. So, thank you very much for joining me again on this Nian short. I had a wonderful time. Rick, thank you for helping me out with the demonstration. I hope this helps you in some way to raise your training to a whole nother level, if not just remind you of a level that you may have overlooked a while back. But either way, thank you very much for being here. Hope you like and subscribe if you haven't already. Notification button so you get dings every week. Besides that, have a wonderful day. 3, 2, 1, cut!